Look at this creature. 4 weeks old. Soft grey fur, clumsy paws, too large for his body. Eyes the color of glacial ice. Beautiful. But do not be deceived. This is not innocence. This is a warrior, born into war. Out of every 10 wolf pups born in Yellowstone this spring, only 3 will see their first birthday. The others, they will vanish, frozen in the snow, starved in the den, torn apart by teeth meant to protect them. This is the story no one tells. The brutal arithmetic of survival in America's most unforgiving wilderness. A story of hunger, violence, betrayal, and against all odds, legends. April. Snow still blankets the high country. But deep beneath a hillside, hidden from the world, new life stirs. A mother wolf gives birth, 4 to 6 pups, each no heavier than a baked potato, eyes sealed shut, ears folded closed. They cannot see, cannot hear, cannot even regulate their own warmth. For 12 days, they exist in absolute darkness, crawling blindly toward heat, guided only by the scent of milk and the rhythm of their mother's breathing. This is how every wolf begins. Helpless, each word given space, emphasizing fragility. Vulnerable, utterly dependent. At 2 weeks, their eyes open for the first time. Brilliant blue, but nearly blind. The world is only shadows, shapes without meaning. At 3 weeks, their ears unfold, and they hear the howls of the pack echoing across the valley. The wind rushing through pine trees, the distant bugle of elk, prey they do not yet understand. At 4 weeks, something extraordinary happens. They emerge from the den. Sunlight, grass beneath their paws, the vast, infinite sky. They weigh 5 pounds now. They wrestle. They tumble over one another. They begin to learn who they are. But milk is no longer enough. They need meat. And that means the pack must hunt. Adult wolves travel 20 miles on a single hunt. When they kill, they gorge themselves on elk flesh. Then they run back to the den, and they regurgitate. Warm, pre-digested, nutrient-rich pulp. To us, it sounds grotesque, but to a starving wolf pup, it is everything. It is survival in its rawest form. But what happens when the hunt fails? What happens when drought kills the elk calves? When prey scatters? When days pass without a kill? The milk dries up. The regurgitated meat never comes. And the pups begin to starve. In the worst years on record, 80% of a litter simply disappears. Gone, as though they never existed at all. By the 8 weeks, the survivors have grown stronger. They move from the birth den to open ground, what researchers call a rendezvous site. A meadow where the pack gathers between hunts. The pups are weaned now. They eat solid meat. They are learning to be wolves. But just when you think they are safe, the real danger appears. And it does not come from bears. It does not come from starvation. It comes from other wolves. Here is a fact that will unsettle you. In Yellowstone, the leading cause of wolf mortality is other wolves. Territory is everything. A wolf pack's territory spans 200 square miles. They mark it with scent. They defend it with violence. And they will kill to protect it. Imagine this. A rival pack crosses the boundary. They are not here to negotiate. They are here to eliminate competition. And they have detected something. The smell of pups. What happens next is swift, brutal, strategic. The rival wolves attack the rendezvous site. The defenders fight back, teeth flashing, snarls tearing through the air, but they are outnumbered. And the attackers go straight for the pups. They eliminate competing offspring, a calculated strategy. For strategy, eliminating a rival pack's pups means eliminating their future hunters, their future strength, their future dominance. In 2009, Yellowstone's famous Molly's pack launched a coordinated raid on rival territory. The entire litter was lost. None survived the raid. Studies show that 92% of wolves killed during denning season are adults defending their young. But when the defenders fall, the pups have no chance. This is not random violence. This is calculated warfare. This is evolution playing chess with lives on the board. Your greatest threat is not a predator from another species. It is the wolf standing on the other side of an invisible line. If a pup survives starvation, if it survives the pack wars, it still is not safe. Because in Yellowstone, the neighborhood is filled with monsters. First, the grizzly bear. A grizzly can smell a wolf den from miles away. Researchers have documented what they call the stank aroma, decomposing leg bones, carcass scraps, regurgitated meat piled around the den entrance. To a grizzly, it is an invitation. And here is the terrifying part. Grizzlies have been observed parking themselves on top of wolf dens, waiting, like a predator camped outside a restaurant. When a 600-pound grizzly arrives, even the alpha wolves cannot stop him. The pack circles, bites at his ankles, harasses him relentlessly. But if the bear is determined, he gets what he wants. And what he wants is the pups. Second, the golden eagle. 7-foot wingspan, talons like daggers, dive speeds exceeding 80 miles per hour. An apex predator of the sky. A 4-month-old wolf pup wandering too far from the pack? Perfect prey. The eagle swoops down. Silent, efficient, lightning-fast precision, and disappears into the sky before the pack can respond. And finally, the wars never stop. In 2009, Molly's pack invaded rival territory, not just to fight, but to find the den and kill every single pup inside. In Yellowstone, danger does not take a day off. For a wolf pup, survival means being lucky every single day. You only have to be unlucky once. October. The surviving pups have made it through spring, through summer. They are 6 months old now. 40 pounds, lanky, awkward, too big to be cute, too small to be intimidating. They have learned to eat meat, to understand hierarchy, to survive starvation and attacks. But now, they face the ultimate test. Winter. In Yellowstone, winter is not a season. It is a war of attrition. Temperatures plunge to 40 below zero. Snow depths reach 6 feet. The wind alone can kill you. And here is the cruel twist. Just when the environment becomes most deadly, the pups are expected to become hunters. Because at 6 months old, they are no longer babies. They are apprentices. And apprentices do not get handouts. They must contribute. They must learn to hunt, or they starve. Picture this. You are a 40-pound teenage wolf. Your prey? A 600-pound bull elk. Antlers like spears, hooves that can shatter your skull with one kick. The pack can teach you strategy, but they cannot protect you from mistakes. One miscalculation, one wrong angle of attack, and survival ends instantly. The hunt carries grave risks. The pack moves constantly, following the herds. Some days they travel 20 miles, through deep snow, in sub-zero temperatures. Cold rule, no exceptions. If you cannot keep up, you get left behind. Equation made simple, terrible. And being left behind means death. Scientific explanation, educational but grim. Hypothermia and starvation work together. The cold burns through your calories. Compounding exhaustion. Hunting burns even more. If the pack does not make a kill for 3 days, counting down, reserves depleting. 4 days, biological reserves become depleted. Hypothermia affects both body and mind. You lie down in the snow, just for a minute, just to rest, and nature takes its course. Research from Yellowstone shows that pup mortality spikes sharply in December and January. These are the months where nature makes its final cuts, where the weak are filtered out, and only the strongest, the smartest, the luckiest, survive. By the time spring returns, the survivors are no longer pups. They are warriors, scarred, hardened, forged in extremity, tested by fire and ice. But getting there? That is the hardest part. Those who survive that first winter are no longer pups. They are 1-year-old juveniles, battle-tested, survivors of a gauntlet that killed more than half their siblings, and some of them, they become legends. Let me tell you about Wolf 302. Wolf 302 was born into the famous Druid Peak pack. But as a young wolf, he was a coward. When fights broke out, he ran. When the pack needed him, he disappeared. The dominant male, Wolf 21, chased him out of the pack. 302 was exiled, alone. Most wolves do not survive exile, but 302 did something remarkable. He learned. He wandered Yellowstone alone, observing other packs from a distance. He watched how alphas led, how they fought, how they commanded respect. And slowly, 302 transformed himself. Years later, he returned, not as a coward, as a leader. He formed his own pack, the Blacktails. He became one of Yellowstone's most successful breeding males, fathering dozens of pups across multiple packs. The wolf who once ran from fights became a legend of redemption. And then there is Wolf 06, the queen of Lamar Valley. 06 was born in 2006. Her mother carried the legendary Druid bloodline. From the very beginning, she was different. Smarter, stronger, more determined. By the time she was 2 years old, she was hunting solo, taking down 500-pound elk by herself. Something most wolves cannot do even with a pack. She became the alpha female of the Lamar Canyon pack. And under her leadership, the pack thrived. Her hunting success rate was extraordinary. Her pups had survival rates far above average. Some litters, 100% survival. Unheard of in the wild. Photographers traveled from around the world just to see her. She became the most famous wolf on Earth. Documentaries were made about her. Books were written about her. And then, In 2012, a hunter shot and killed her, just outside the park boundary. The news devastated millions. Vigils were held. People mourned a wolf they had never met, but deeply admired. Why? Because 06 represented something powerful. The triumph of survival against impossible odds. She survived the puppyhood gauntlet. She survived the great filter. And she became not just a survivor, but a legend. Being born a wolf pup is not a fairy tale. It is a brutal lottery, where the odds are catastrophically stacked against you. From the moment you open your eyes, you are fighting for survival. Against starvation, against predators, against the cold, against your own kind. Half will never see their first birthday. That is the reality. But those who make it, those who survive the gauntlet, they become something extraordinary. Warriors, legends, survivors who beat odds that would crush almost anything else on this planet. When you see wolves running wild in Yellowstone today, powerful, majestic, free, remember what they survived just to exist. Every wolf you see is a winner of nature's cruelest lottery. They are proof that survival is not about being the biggest or the strongest. It is about being the toughest, the smartest, and sometimes the luckiest. Nature does not choose favorites. It only chooses survivors.